Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. Welcome to Power to Sing Live number 25. And the topic today is building, how long does it take to build strength in my voice? And it's this is a question that comes up almost every single day. Building strength in your voice, how long does it take? I think I'm just going to answer this question right now, and then I'll do Q&A. Here's the answer: as long as it takes. Oh, how unsatisfying is that? But I'm going to go into some more detail on that, and I'm going to want to talk a little bit about it and make sure that you all have a good sense for what's realistic. And all right, so to begin with, I want to. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate your patience here. So once again, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing, and this question comes up all the time. The topic of today is developing strength in my voice. How long does it take? And I want to reference two sources. The first source is from the book, The Voice of the Mind, which is this book right here. This is by a man named Cesare, and this book was used for many years, from what I understand, at a lot of universities for their in their vocal department. All right, so I don't know why the sound is not doing well today. I'm just going to hold this close to me, okay, so that we don't have this issue. So Cesare had some things to say about singing, and I would like to, and in terms of the thing that he refers to, he talks a little bit about patience. So I'd like to refer to that, if I might. And so here's what he says. And you see that? It looks kind of small. I'm hoping that it's clear. Let me just take a look at it, see if I can see it. He refers to... Okay. In this second to the last paragraph, I'll read it to you. But was there ever achievement without that calm, persevering endurance we call patience? Holding the skies. Ask any great painter, sculptor, singer, violinist, pianist, astronomer, or gardener what sustained their efforts during years of hard study and disappointing experiment. With one voice, their answer will be patience, the cementing influence in the building process. Now he goes on to say that he's not just talking about patience that just lets time pass without any work. He says patience, we mean, is militant. That is, it's active learning, but being patient. Now, there's another one I want to share with you that I think is really important. And it's a statement, or it's a comment from Seth Riggs. Now, Seth Riggs wrote a book called Singing for the Stars. And many of you have seen this book before. And I want to read a section of this. Now, I think I'm going to have to... let me see here. Let me get this ready for you. I'd like to have you look at it. Hold on just a second. Well, I've got a side view of it, but I need to rotate this so that we can see it. That's not going to work. Okay, so let me read to you from this book, Singing for the Stars. what Seth Riggs says about building strength. Building strength. Okay. He said, building strength, all in good time. Don't be concerned about building a strong voice right away. The ability to increase the loudness of your tone will come by itself after the coordination of your vocal muscles has been established. Once the crutch of depending on your outer muscles to help keep your vocal cords balanced and your breath flow is gone, your vocal cords will develop their own independent strength. Little by little, your vocal cords will be able to hold back more and more air in the vibration process, eventually providing you with all the dynamic or loudness, flexibility you'll need. In the meantime, or at any time for that matter, you should sing only as loudly as you are able to stay on your speech level with a clear, connected, and easily produced tone throughout your entire range. Now, let me get kind of clear about this. Don't be concerned about building a strong voice right away. The ability to increase the loudness of your tone will come by itself after the coordination of your vocal muscles has been established. And he says, once the crutch of relying on these extrinsic muscles is gone. In other words, because of the habit we have of our singing, because we, for years, have used the extrinsic muscles, that is the muscles surrounding the vocal cords, which are inside this area here of your voice. This is the larynx. Once we've gotten rid of the crutch of these extrinsic or external muscles that we use to push the sound out, then we can really develop, then these vocal cords inside here can develop their own strength and power. That takes time. Why does it take time? Well, it's not because there's a problem with the technique. The technique is great. The problem is with ourselves. We have to overcome, in many cases, years and years of habit. And it's not our fault, really. We just didn't know what we were supposed to do, and we didn't know how to produce the sound. Now, that's me and many of my students and many in the world. There are some singers who are just gifted naturally, and they get it. They were born with this ability to kind of dial into it and do it right and not have any problems. There's a few of them out there. Now, for those of you who don't know, Seth Riggs is was Michael Jackson's vocal coach for 25 years, and has taught many. He's got his people in his studio. He's in his 80s now. He's about 86. He's still teaching, but his studio has over 130 Grammys, and so what he says works. Now, it reminds me of, however, we tend to, and I'm with you on this 100%, we tend to run out of patience. We tend to want it immediately. We tend to want it now. I want it in the first lesson. I want to come to my first lesson, fix all the problems, and leave with a big, powerful singing voice so that I can go and win all my auditions and get all the record deals I want. And that's too often the attitude that we have. We are impatient. It reminds me of, and so what that leads to is we just throw out. We give up, and we just return to the old extrinsic squeezing of the muscles to make the sound, to blow the air out, and to create the singing voice. And then we rob the internal vocal cords themselves of the ability to really develop the power and strength. And so we run out of patience. And so it reminds me of this. Let me share this with you. I wish I could find the source for this. But we ran out of patience, and we say, Heck with patience. I'm going to go out and kill something. Well, the joke is that, I'm just tired of waiting. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to go do this and, forget the consequences. I'm out of time. I'm just going to go and I'm going to go kill something. Well, hopefully you get the idea is that we run out of patience, and then we want to just give up on what we were trying to do, forget trying to develop the vocal cords, forget trying to eliminate past bad habits. If it's not happening now, or if it's not happening next year or the next year or whatever, then just forget it all. Now, I'm not saying that it always takes years, but many of you have heard me talk about this before. Pavarotti is the famous world tenor, now deceased, but internationally, considered one of the all-time greats. He was being interviewed, and he demonstrated something on the piano, and he said, now that may sound easy, but that'd take maybe 10 years, he said. And when I heard him said that, I was astounded. I couldn't believe that here's Pavarotti, who is just, world class in a place all his own, saying that it took him 10 years to get that sound. And to my ear, I could hear the difference. Many of us probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference in what he was doing, but I could hear what he was saying. And some of us, we wouldn't be willing to give 10 years of effort to get that sound, but it made him who he was. So I'm not going to belabor this anymore. The point is that just like anything else, just like anything that really is worthwhile and that really amounts to something significant and special, it takes time. And so the more time and patience that we exert in learning what we want to learn about singing and about developing the strength and power of our voice, the more likely we will attain it. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this. It's more a philosophical thing today. Let me get to your questions and see if I can't address some of these things. I'm going to go up to the top of the page here, and hopefully the microphone issues have been resolved now that I'm holding this. Karina. Well, just first of all, let me just shout out HEI capital A. I don't know how to pronounce that, but welcome. Thanks for your input already today. Andre, hello. Nice to see you. Karina. Stingo Rar. Leo, hi. Mr. Nath, the boss. Nice to have you with us today. And so, welcome everybody. Katrika, Sylvia. All right, now let me just try and address some of these questions. First of all, she said, I need some exercise to cure my breathy tone. Karina, I'm going to save us all, so I'm save you some time and all of us some time. If you would go to my website and I'm going to try and find this for you. If you'll go to this website, and everyone, you can utilize this information, there is something called the Knowledge Center. Website is powertosing.com. You open the Knowledge Center, and inside the Knowledge Center are different vocal types. In this case, your vocal type would be light chest, no chest, or very likely it's this. I would recommend that you go to the home screen and take the power test. If you have not done that, here's the power test. You take the power test by pushing this record button. Then if you're a guy, you do the men's. If you're female or child, you do the women and children, and then you start this, and it will play a piano accompaniment. You probably want to turn it down. And while it's recording, you sing ah. And watch this video, it'll explain it all. Then you take this test, listen to it, listen back on it, and listen to how it sounds and answer these questions. And then you could submit it and you'll get your vocal type. Or you can send it to me and I'll listen to it and give you your vocal type. Then go to the Knowledge Center, and if your vocal type is pulled chest high larynx, click on this one and it'll take you to some videos about it. In this case, let's go to light chest, no chest, and there'll be 3 videos here. What it is, I'll go into detail on this. I'll give you exercises that are going to help solve the issue or the problem of light chest, no chest. And then there are examples of singers who sing with light chest, no chest. Then you can download these free exercises here, and you go to this screen and you push this little yellow button and it will download the exact exercises that I demonstrated in this video here. I go through all of the, I give you exercises, and then you can download the exact piano accompaniment for those exercises and practice them. And this is the case for all of us, and I recommend that you you look into this, and it's going to. These exercises are designed to counteract what you're describing, breathiness or lightness of tone. The exercises for you in light chest, no chest are going to counteract that and give you a stronger and more vibrant tone. Thank you. That's a great question. Now, how can I improve my singing because I want to do something big in life? Okay, Leo, do what I just described. Go take the vocal test and get your vocal type. And then depending on what your vocal type is, watch the videos. 80% of us are pulled chest, high larynx. And watch the videos about pulled chest, high larynx, and download the free exercises. That's going to get you off on the right foot. Karina, I have poor posture and terrible cord closure due to surgery 5 years ago. Was your surgery on your vocal cords, Karina? I would like to know, or are you talking about the posture that you have now as a result of your surgery? Is it like a scoliosis surgery, or what kind of surgery were you referring to, Karina? I'm interested in that, because that can definitely affect the thoracic cavity and your ability to expand your rib cage and so forth. Curious what that surgery was. What are some exercises for weak head voice? Mr. Nath the boss. So Nath, a weak head voice is usually, there's several different causes of a weak head voice. Sometimes when us guys are going to our head voice, we break into falsetto. If I said, ah, now I'm in falsetto, ah, and that can feel very weak. But if I just give you exercises to strengthen the falsetto, it's not going to help you. What we want to do is address the problem in the first place. And the problem could very well be that the larynx is going up and you're breaking into falsetto as a result. Ah. So when that happens, we've got to give you exercises that will keep the larynx down so that you can go through what's called the bridge of your voice. Ah. That by itself will strengthen your head voice. So I would recommend, if you haven't yet, please go and get your vocal type and then download the free exercises that are going to help. And no matter what the vocal type is, it's going to help you get through the bridge into your head voice with a connection, not falsetto, in true head voice, And that's going to, just in and of itself, going to make a very big difference in the quality of the head voice. Okay. I lost my place here. I had an instructor that told me freedom is worthless without discipline. I think patience is the bread and butter of that. Thanks. Yeah, I think so. I think it really is. And I'm probably the most impatient person on this call. Just ask my wife. And I'm working. I'm trying to get better. But I share this frustration with you. And as a teacher, I wish I could just magically get everyone perfect, in 30 minutes. Okay. I seem to have lost my place here. Let me back up here and see if I can find where we're at. Yes, The Voice of the Mind by Cesare. It's Caesari. I found it was in publication, but it's in England. And, it was about, I think I spent about, it's not cheap. It's like $60-$70 if I remember right, maybe more. But I love it. It's an amazing book. Now, how to cover a song. What kind of changes can I make to make the song different and unique? What an interesting and good question. Critica. Thanks for that. Well, one of the things I would do, first of all, and I'm guessing you're probably talking about a pop song, a current song, or even let's just say it's a jazz standard or anything. You're not talking about a classical music. They want you to do it exactly as written. But let's say let me see. What song should we sing? The first thing you would want to do is you don't need to adhere exactly to the same melody. So you can change the melody. You don't have to adhere to the same rhythmic structure that's sung and or well known. And if you just worked on those two things, that would have an impact on the song. So let's just say you were singing I don't know. If I were singing Hey Jude and I said, Hey Jude, well, we all know what's coming next. Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song. So instead of being, let's play with the melody for a second. So if I said, Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad, and then you have to stay with the melody, but find places where you can play with the melody and change it. Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song. You get the idea. I'm not really getting this very well here, but let me add to it. You don't want to necessarily. You can vary the rhythm of the song. So if I said, "Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. So you start playing with the rhythms, and you extend it out a little bit, or you speed it up a little bit, so that it's different than before. And then all of a sudden, the cover becomes interesting. You catch our attention right away. And as in the process of that, you'll find places where you can vary the melody. Maybe it's just an extra lick, or I've heard an example given by again by Seth Riggs where he's talking about Ray Charles. Ray Charles was a master at this. If you listen to any of Ray Charles's music, or a lot of his music, you'll find him pushing the beat or holding back on the beat. And Seth talks about the time when he was singing America the Beautiful, which is a song we sing here in the United States. But I'm see, oh beautiful, do you hear me, children? For special skies, beauty all around. I mean, he's just putting words in, and just kind of like making it up and pushing the beat, holding back on the beat. And so I would say if you want a good example of covers, or changing the song up, listen to some of the Ray Charles music. How's that for a long answer to a short question? I hope that's helpful. Frankly, I'm not really great at that. We don't do that much in musical theater. But where I've had students who've done this, like in certain contests, and they're covering, it's a cover song, if I can get them to change it up a little bit, to hold the note longer, or to change the melody slightly, then it starts to get interesting. So I'd work with those two things: rhythm and melody. What's the average time of making a powerful voice? There is no average. I wish there was. I'd give you a better answer. For some students, for me, frankly, I'll tell you, I think it took me about 11 years. Now, that's not to say I wasn't singing. I was singing a lot. I was performing a lot. I've done one or two musicals every year for about the last, since 1997. So it's almost 20 years now. Now it probably hasn't been 2 a year, because I'm up to about 36 or 37. I was just cast in 1776. I'm not supposed to tell anybody what it is or who I'm cast as until tomorrow, so I have to wait. So I sang. Don't wait till you're perfect. Keep singing, and keep working. And over time, you're going to be developing the power that you want. But Mr. Nath, the boss, I would say, generally speaking, to really get things to make a big difference, I would say you're looking at a couple years. And for me, I think I really had a major break. I had some break. You kind of go on a plateau, then you have a breakthrough, and you kind of go up a little ways, and then you have another plateau, and then you're kind of like not making progress, and then it goes up, and it kind of happens like that. For me, I would have those momentary plateaus, and then I'd have this big increase in productivity and sound or whatever. But I feel like, for me, it was more than 10 years to really find what has made a big difference for me. But having said that, I'm trying to help my students faster, because I've been through it, and I think maybe I can help you go quicker to that goal. And you know what the secret is? Here's the secret. Write this down. Eliminate the extrinsic muscles from the vocal production. Get to the point where you can sing with real freedom and release, without tension, without the surrounding muscle tension that squeezes the vocal cords. That's when your progress really begins. Okay. How many hours are needed daily for practice? I'd say if you practice 15 minutes a day, 7 days a week, you would make huge amounts of progress if you're practicing correctly. If you're practicing incorrectly, you can practice 10 hours a day and you're not going to make one iota of progress. In fact, you may injure your voice. What Seth Riggs talks about in his book, Singing for the Stars, again, this is the book, and he has a question and answer section. And that question was asked, how long should I practice? And he basically says, if you sing for an hour, practice an hour. So if you've got a show you're doing or a set list and it takes you an hour to do it, you go through your songs. Do some warm-ups and go through your songs. When I'm in a show, I did a year and a half ago, I did The King and I played the role of the king, and so I did all of my lines and I did my song. So that's a practice, and I also did my warm-ups. I did that every day of the show. Always ran my lines and ran my song. But pretty much I practiced every day, and so it was more than an hour. Well, probably roughly an hour at first, especially. So however long you're performing, practice that long. When I'm not performing, if I can get in a good 30 minutes, then it keeps my voice in condition and keeps me progressing. So I don't feel like you need more than 30 minutes to an hour max to be progressing and making progress if you're practicing correctly. If you're doing the exercises incorrectly, you don't have the right exercises in the first place, it doesn't matter how long you practice. The progress is slow or none at all. That sounds strange, but it's true. What exercise can I do to not use external muscles? Here they are right here. I'll give you this one. This is a gold mine, and it's this simple. Goo, 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 goo. Now, that's the exercise. If you do it like this, goo, 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 they're not going to help. So you've got to allow it to go hooty on the top. Goo, 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 goo. Now the vocal cords are the only thing producing the sound. The extrinsic muscles are not involved. Or goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. For the ladies. Goo, goo. See. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo. Without grabbing it. Let it go hooty on the top. That separates the extrinsic muscles from the internal vocal cords themselves. What I personally struggle with is developing a decent head voice and how to get my registers mixed. My head voice is so breathy, and mixed voice in terms of contemporary differs from pop. So again, I would definitely say that the starting point for all of this is to registrate the voice. By that I mean when you're in chest, you're in chest. When you're in mix, you're in mix. When you're in head voice, you're in head voice. And to deal with that, to put that all together, is you have to get that bridge correct. You have to get that middle right. If you get the middle right, the chest and the upper takes care of itself. Well, it takes care of itself because the exercises you do are going to unify your voice. You'll be able to go from the bottom. Well, that's the high D. So you'll be able to do all of that, but the only way you can get to it is to get the middle down. You've got to have that E, F, F sharp above middle C if you're a guy. If you're a girl, you have to have the A, B flat, B, and C, C sharp, or C. C sharp are pretty much all the way through it. That's the A above middle C, ladies, up to the high C, C sharp. You've got to have that down. And the exercises in Power to Sing are designed to help you do that. Again, I would go to, if you get your vocal type and start working on the exercises because those are going to help you. Exercises to get raspiness for, Kritika, I don't teach raspiness. I teach students how to get rid of raspiness. Some days I feel my voice is so free that I can do whatever I want, and the next day my voice feels so out of practice. Makes me feel very discouraged. Any explanation and tips for this? Sonia, it kind of depends on our age. It depends on how late you stay up and how early how much sleep you're getting, how much of your fluid, how much hydration you're getting. If you're staying hydrated, it depends on for the ladies, your menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle can affect it can cause swollen cords, and so the vocal cords themselves will swell, and that changes it. That changes everything. It depends on the pollen in the air. It depends on humidity. It depends on if you have an illness, and acid reflux is a big thing. This morning was bad for me, and I didn't do the right thing. I ate some chocolate before I went to bed, and that's one of the worst things you can eat because it relaxes the sphincter muscle that allows the contents of the acid from the stomach to come up and burn my vocal cords. So I didn't feel it. I couldn't feel in it, but I could definitely feel it this morning when I woke up. Even now, it's a little bit that way. So Sonia, I wish there was an answer for it, but I don't have a really great answer. It seems like it's different every day. But you just have to be patient with yourself. I would say when you have a bad day, you start with a lighter and not intense, don't push hard kind of exercises for the first 10 or 15 minutes until things get a little bit warmed up. And then hopefully that's going to help. Exercise usually does a couple things. It helps lubricate the vocal folds. So there's a mucosal layer where it just kind of gets a little more lubrication, our body's natural lubrication from the mucosa, and then also helps send blood supply to the vocal folds. Exercises for, is there a risk of too much practice? I think there's a risk of too much practice. If you're practicing correctly, the risk is much less. If it's incorrect practice, then it's very high. And if you're performing routinely, I don't think it's a good idea to over practice. I think if you want to practice for an hour a day, do 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. I think that's more effective and better for our voices, especially if you're performing, than an hour that night. A daily practice, o, ma, these 5 for 15 minutes, and SA for 30 minutes. These 5 for 15 minutes. And then, so 45 minutes, I think that's a 45 minutes practice session sounds very reasonable to me. I had carotid body tissue. So is that from the neck, Karina? The carotid benign tumor on the artery. Okay. So that's affected your posture. Has that affected your ability to keep your head straight or stand up straight? I'm not exactly sure. I've never had the carotid surgery before, so I don't know the impact. But I will say this, that I've strained my back before, and it affects my voice. So part of the, and surgery on the neck is always dangerous from the standpoint of a singer, because there's so many nerves around here that can be inadvertently bruised or even further damaged, that can have some impact on the voice. So and besides that, if you're intubated, so the anesthesiologist will put a tube down your windpipe, and guess what? That tube is sitting right on the vocal folds. And so that can damage, going in and out can damage your vocal folds. So there's so many different things about surgery that I don't want. And so I don't know exactly what to tell you about that, and especially in terms of posture. I would only recommend if you can see a speech pathologist, a speech therapist, who can do some, give you some, actually some physical, like a, some, um, like a chiropractic treatment of your neck and shoulders and so forth. Those things are all related, and surgery can be. It depends on also how long ago. Sometimes it just takes time for everything to return. I have an associate who had surgery on his neck for cancer, and he said it took 5 years for things to kind of return to somewhat normal. Um, ooh. Hi, Tadas. Robin, could be used. The voice breaking could be used for regular singing. Yeah, some people use falsetto as a style choice, and I say fine. The only thing that I don't say fine to is if that's how you have to do it. If you have to sing with the break, then you're limited. If you choose to break into falsetto because you want to make a style choice, great. More power to you. Um, Sorry, I've got that little blue light that's kind of irritating on this thing. How can I reduce tension while doing whistle notes? You know what, Thaddeus, I'm not sure what you mean by whistle notes, but my whistle notes are in the stratosphere. I mean, they're way up there. If you call it whistle, I just call it my super head voice. Um, that's the high G. That's the G. Let me see. That's the G5. Is that whistle note? I don't know, but it's hard to do that. Um, I don't do. I don't. What if I? I've never performed with a note like that. So I. I guess I kind of avoid those when I'm performing. I was hearing Sia song and she uses it. Oh, okay. It's pretty tough. I don't know. I don't have any good advice for you on that. Just have to keep the larynx down for sure. That's the only way I can even hit that G. So kind of a dopey imposed sound is one possibility of doing that. I'm missing some of the conversation here. Castle and Hill. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe that's anyway. What's the best way to improve breathing? I've tried putting textbooks on my stomach while lying down, and this technique, for some reason, my air is just so poor. Well, this is one of those things that takes some coordination and practice. Um, if you go to my website and watch episode 15 and 16, in the knowledge, if you go to the Knowledge Center on the website, I've got a couple I think that are really good videos. Come over here on this. Oops, I forgot that you can't see what I'm doing here. Let me just get this to you. So if you come, this is the Knowledge Center, and let me just show you how to find the video on breathing. You come to the categories here, and you just come to breath control. And if you'll go to breath control, it'll bring up 5 videos that are really good for singing. And I would start with episode 15 and 16. Episode 15 and 16 will give you great information on how to sing with the diaphragm. I think personally, if you studied that for regularly on a routine basis, if you study episode 15 and 16, you're going to have some real help for breathing. Hi Chuck, I'm in the recording studio for the first time ever to record some covers tomorrow. Any tips? To record some covers tomorrow. Any tips? Hi Stu. I just would say save yourself a lot of money by being extremely prepared. Have all of your music lined up. If you're going to do, if you got musicians, make sure they're ready and set, and have all of the music they need. If you're going to use karaoke tracks, make sure you get your tracks all lined up and be very well rehearsed. Be really prepared, and you'll save yourself a lot of money, so that you know it's not just a waste of time getting things set up and getting things organized. From the standpoint of the voice, if you're not ready today, you won't be ready tomorrow. I don't know what else to tell you on that. I always hear about breathing from the diaphragm. I can do. I take a really good breath from the diaphragm while singing, but I have a problem with exhaling. I can't connect my voice to my breath. I can't connect my voice to my breath. I don't know what to say about that because when we speak, our voice is connected to our breath. If I make a sound when I sing, ah, my voice is connected to my breath. But I do get a disconnect myself emotionally. I don't necessarily feel the air when I take a breath from the diaphragm, I allow my tummy to come out. So the tummy comes out, and then I pull it in gradually. I don't pull it in hard. I pull it in gradually, as if there were a little string or thread behind my belly button, and I were just pulling it in. I think that helps push air to my vocal cords. Thaddeus, I don't know if that's exactly what you're referring to, but that's where I kind of get a little bit disconnected too. I don't see the direct correlation. So when I pull my tummy in, I think it helps push the diaphragm up, which in turn sends air from the lungs up the windpipe to the vocal folds, and that's where the action is, right? So I think that just gently pulling my tummy in as I'm using my air helps me with that airflow to the vocal folds. And I talk a little bit about that on those videos that I've referred to. I hope that's helpful, Thaddeus, because I share some of the kind of disconnect with that. Thanks, Karina. I love America the Beautiful. It's a great song. Sorry to miss the first half. Hi, Don. Nice to have you with us. It's taken me over 2 years to develop vocal strength. Yeah. A lot of it has to do with the vowels I was using. They directly affect the vocal mode. There's so many things involved. And drinking water daily helps. And that's my routine. I get up in the morning, I clean my teeth, and I go out and I drink 32 ounces first thing. And I stand there by the window and look outside because I'm not a chugger. I have a hard time doing it. My wife can swallow like 4 times and it's all gone. But for me, it just takes me a long time. You can hear how I'm a little scratchy today, and I think it's this reflux. How long did I have lessons with Seth? I've got a lesson with him this Friday. And the last 3 years have been really awesome. We've had really pretty close association with Seth. And then periodically, I had my first lesson with him with my family in summer of 97. And but over the years, I took lessons from a lot of his teachers. But the last 3 years, I've taken more lessons from Seth, and it's been just great. Thanks, Karina. You're cool too. Do you think Seth Riggs' technique isn't for powerhouse singing? Use pretty head voice early in SLS, and you can't become good in belting. Belting is an interesting word, Critica. Some people call just pulling up chest, kind of yelling chest, belting. And there's different kinds of they're different people who belt different ways. What I've found is that people who really, like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Bette Midler, Barbra Streisand, Bernadette Peters. All these people studied with Seth. There's many, many more. They have pretty powerful voices, and so I have a hard time finding a lot of criticism about it. Where I find the where I don't see a lot, and I don't think speech level singing is represented as this, is I don't see a lot of people coming out of speech level singing and going into the harder rock kinds of things. Now, I'm probably speaking out of turn, but I'm pretty sure that I've heard that the lead singer Maroon 5, sorry, I can't even remember his name right off the cuff, has studied some with Seth. And I know that Ozzy Osbourne has studied with Seth. And so there are rock stars, rock singers who've studied with Seth. Now, in the case of Ozzy, I'm pretty sure most of the work that Seth did was just to get his voice working again, and keep him out of trouble. So, Ozzy sings pretty strong, but it ends up being that a lot of these people who do that come to him to be rehabilitated, to get the hoarseness out, so they can, go on tour and. So he would travel with Michael and work with him when he was on the Thriller tour. They, I'm telling stories that I've heard Seth talk about, but it's in his book that he vocalized Michael 3 times a day when he was on the Thriller tour, and just kept him tuned up, like Quincy Jones says, kept Michael tuned up like a Ferrari. Didn't miss one performance on the Thriller tour. Michael's got a pretty strong voice. I'd say he's a powerhouse. He was a powerhouse. So we gotta wrap this up. It's been an hour. Isn't head voice falsetto with more twang? No, head voice is is connected vocal. The tone is connected. In falsetto, the tone disconnects. So if I were in falsetto and I came down, it doesn't blend in the chest. I have to clunk back in to the chest tone. But if I'm in head voice, it's a connected tone. There's no disconnect. So there's a real difference between those two, and it's not just. I really don't know what twang is, so I can't really address that. If that's a vocal cord condition, then maybe. But if it's just a sound, yeah, it's more than just a sound. There's a vocal cord condition that's different in head voice, and we call it a connected tone. It's different. There's more vocal cord being used in head voice, and less vocal cord coming together in falsetto. Please give us some exercises for chord closure. Yes, Karina, again, I'm going to just refer you back to the beginning of this video. Go to my website, powertosing.com, go to the Knowledge Center, and then go to light chest, no chest. And the exercises for light chest, no chest are big time chord closure. Yep, chocolate gives you acid reflux. I know, I'm so sad about that. When I sing E, my vocal cords do not come very close. Yeah, the E, it depends on how hard you do it. I can get my vocal cords closed pretty tight with E. E. Or I can do it pretty breathy. E. So it kind of depends on how hard I close them. Andre Fontana, my oohs and e's in my mix are good. When my vowels migrate from E, my voice becomes weak. Too heady, female-like. Why and how can I solve this problem? from E to ah. So if I said ooh, it just takes some time. Or if I said I couldn't do that for a long time. It took me a while to get that, but I think it's possible. How often do you do this kind of live chats? I try and do them every. I'm in the States in Utah, so it's Mountain Time. I try to do them around. I'm making a commitment to do it about 2:00 every Tuesday afternoon. I'm not sure what time that is for you if you're in the States, Karina. I am a baritone. Actually, my real vocal type is, because this is a low E, so I've got some depth in my voice. Today's not a good day, but there it is. So I'm pretty much what's called a basso cantata, which means I'm a bass with tenor notes. My surgery was 5 years ago. Almost died because I lost so much blood. Surgery took 13 hours. It was embolism. Okay, so you had some heavy-duty stuff. Rena, yeah, I'd go to a therapist, frankly, and see what they could do. A physical therapist of some kind, or a voice vocalogist, and they might be able to give you some massage helps and to get that corrected. I mean, whistle notes, Mariah Carey. Yeah, as the voice goes higher, the larynx has to stay down. So we have to keep our larynx down for whistle notes as well as just regular head voice notes. Okay, I've got no beard. John noticed. Hey, how about that? For my audition, I wanted to youthen myself, so I cut it off. And I was cast, so I don't know if it helped or not. I was called back for John Dickinson and Ben Franklin. They cast me in the younger role of John Dickinson, so maybe it did help. I decided that I would, youthen. Thanks. Karina, she likes my no beard look. Swimming, I think that would be a great breath control. I think that would be, because it gets you in a rhythm and a lot of other things. So, I'll go through some of these questions and see if let me see. No, actually, they disappear after we're done here. So let me try and blast through these. How do you do that thing like the powerful singers do when they hit high notes, example? You know what, Xavier? I don't know, Tamela man. How do you do that powerful singers do when they hit high notes? I'm not sure what that is, but I mean, if I just went kind of bratty and said, I can go. I just kind of do that little bratty sound, and I can do it on different vowels. So, I do a bratty, kind of like a bratty neigh, and that's some of the exercises that I help some of my singers do. But it's possible to do it without pulling up my chest voice. It does everything. Oh my gosh, I'm actually for once on time. It's assuming that I could be sleeping anyway. Hi, Chuck. Good. Myth does everything. Thanks for showing up. I recognize that you've made lots of comments on my videos. R2 official. I run out of breath when singing in front of people. I think it's due to anxiety. I sing well, practicing alone. Not so well. But I'm never giving up. Good. Artificial, because it is true. When you're in front of people, you cannot breathe is probably what's happening. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And again, I recommend watching those videos that I talked about earlier. I got on stage and almost died. Yeah. Seems like we're responding to a message 20 minutes ago, or when delayed. It's just me. Sorry, John. There's only like about a. There's probably like a minute delay in this from when I'm broadcasting, but yes, talking about being nervous on stage. Really, the more you do it, the better and more relaxed you get. That's the bad news. You got to do it. You just keep after it. One of the things I find helps a lot is to really focus in on the lyrics. If I really focus in on the lyrics of the song and can lose myself in the lyrics, then I tend to forget about my nervousness and everything else that's going on. So, as a quick tip, really, really study the lyrics. Really, really find the deep meaning for you and what that song means, and just try and convey that in your words as you sing. And that's going to help 75% of your nervousness. ASMR Enlightenment. MJ is awesome. Yeah. I can hit the B5, but I'd like what vocal set I'd be put in the soprano, or Xavier, let me see, B5. Well, if you're a male, you're definitely a tenor. If you're a female, you're probably a soprano, or you could be like a second soprano. Xavier, I'm guessing you're a guy. So you're tenor. That's what your vocal type is. Congrats on getting Cassidy Dickinson. Did I say that? I'm not supposed to. Not until tomorrow. Keep it under your hats. But thank you. It's a great role. I love it. How do you keep your larynx down when hitting high notes without sounding operatic? Yeah. Well, it's a lot of it. There's a lot of videos online on my website, powertosing.com, about the larynx, but it's possible to. What we have to do is we have to train. We have to work the area of the bridge. For the men, it's the E, F, F sharp, and for the women, the A, B flat, B, C, above middle C. And once we get that down firmly and securely, comfortably without strain and stress, the larynx will be at speech level where we talk, and it won't sound like we're singing opera. Duct tape. That's funny. I also feel it when I sing. It's kind of flat. How do I put some spunk in my voice? Besides, a lot of times just being slightly under pitch has to do with breathing. And so if you can get that breathing, the diaphragmatic breathing, and gently pull that tummy in as you're using your air, not jerk it in, but just gently pull it in. It gives you just that added fraction that helps you with that. I've got to wrap this up. I've got a student coming in a few minutes, and so I've got to be wrapping this. Just quickly, for exercises for breath control, I don't really give exercises for breath control. I think it can be overdone a little bit, but it does help to get those two videos that I referenced earlier, episode 15 and 16. I would watch those, and I think they're going to help you. It's just a matter of getting a coordination. It's like, do you do exercises to ride a bicycle? No, you just find the coordination. And that's kind of what, in my opinion, it's more effective. Now, I don't teach classical opera, so, people would probably disagree with that. But I think breathing and breathing exercises can sometimes be counterproductive if we overdo it. How do professionals sing and dance at the same time? You got to be in good shape because you can't run out of breath. And music directors are always upset if the choreographer is overdoing it when they're supposed to be singing, and then they're dancing so hard that they don't have any breath to sing. But it's definitely a challenge. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for joining me. This is this is the longest broadcast I've had, and I appreciate your patience at the beginning while we're getting sound issues worked out. So I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. Sometimes it takes patience, but you can do it. And I look forward to seeing you again in my next broadcast, which will be in a week. Or also, please be aware that I do videos every Friday, and would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Thanks.